Hi everybody and welcome to another edition of the Droopy Dog Gamer. I'm Leighton. If you like our content, please remember to hit like and subscribe. It really helps our channel to grow. Today we're looking at the news that broke a few days ago that Electronic Arts now is the full owner of Codemasters. Yep, Codemasters has been bought out by EA. Obviously Codemasters is synonymous with the racing titles Formula 1 and Dirt Rally, two of my favourite racing games probably of all time. We're going to have a look today at how this affects the future of racing games. Roll the credits! So yes, it's true. Codemasters is now owned lock, stock and barrel by EA. A lot of people are apprehensive about this. EA have been nominated the most hated company a few years running, which is kind of bizarre for an entertainment publisher to be nominated as a hated company. You usually find sort of Facebook and social media and groups and things like that and companies like that, Microsoft. But yeah, to have a media publisher nominated and voted as most hated, that's quite an achievement in itself. So that's a strange one. But yeah, a lot of people quite rightly will be apprehensive. Obviously EA are not entirely blameless. Look at what they've done with FIFA. Even governments have accused them of gambling, and they've been taken to court over their gambling of the Ultimate Team, and kids spending thousands and thousands of pounds and dollars are trying to buy DLC and trying to buy packs for FIFA. So yeah, they have to take some of the responsibility and some of the blame for that. And if we look at Codemasters is at the other end of the spectrum. They're quite a liked and respected game developer. They're synonymous in the racing genre. They've produced some of the greatest racing games ever in history, TOCA being one of my all-time favourite, the touring cars, and Formula. Obviously they've got the Formula 1 licence. For me, their swan songs, two of them are Formula 1 2020 and Dirt Rally 2.0, which I think are two of the greatest racing games on any platform. I think they're great fun, they're deep, and they're not obviously sort of true simulations, but they're a nice sort of in between the serious iRacing and the more arcade racing genres. So yeah, for me they are the two of the greatest racing games in ever created, I think. But if we look back at Codemasters and look at where they came from, they were started by two brothers called Richard and David Darling in 1986, just a stone's throw away from me in Warwickshire. And in 86 they created Codemasters, and their first ever game was called Super Robin Hood, which came out on the 8-bit computers on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64. And then they carried on, developed, and a year later Grand Prix Simulator came out for the Spectrum in 1987, which that was a pretty basic game, but yeah, it was the first, I guess, one of the first Formula 1 games, and they developed from there. Today we're going to have a look closely, and I'm going to play the 1991 title Micro Machines on the NES. Okay, so here we are on the main selection screen. We've got a single player challenge or 2-player head-to-head. So today we're going to play the single player challenge. Oh, we've got character select. We've got Walter the obese kid. We've got Dwayne, who looks like the chav with the Asbo. Joe, who looks like somebody sneezed on their head. Bonnie, who looks very odd indeed. You got Mike, who looks like he should be in Star Trek. Yeah, harder with that one. You got Emilio, who looks like he's in the wrong game. He should be in Kung Fu Master. Ah, Jethro looks like Coolio the rapper. Anne, yeah, Anne looks a bit odd as well. Cherry. Yeah, you got Chen. Oh, you got Spider, looks a bit like Robbie Williams. Oh, I'm back to Walter the Fat Kid. Yeah, okay, right. I think we'll go for Spider. We'll go for Robbie Williams, I think. We start off on powerboats. It's been a long time since I played this game. Okay, so I am the white one. Off we go. The controls are quite tight on this game. How many laps do we do? We just do one. That's it. Job done. So we've qualified. So we're just going to play the one life, see how far we get. So now we've got to choose who we want to race against. We'll go for Walter. We'll go for Mr. Asbo. Should we go for Sneezehead? No. Let's go for Coolio. We'll go for Coolio. Oh, he's fallen over. That excited. Right. Ah, cool. You get the box of tricks. So we start off with the Jeeps. Ah, it's all coming back to me now. Racing on the tabletop. Just knock them out of the way. Oh my goodness. Whoa, across the waffle. And down we go. You see, this was really innovative for its time. Obviously, it was a fully licensed game as well. Micro Machines had a trademark, of course. They were like a hot toy back in the late 80s. You go across the blobs of... I don't think you can jump. You can't jump. You just got to go through those blobs. I'm way ahead anyway, I think. The controls on this game are really excellent. Yeah, back through the blobs. And we're first. We won that one. This was a really cool game. It's all coming back to me now. So, Walter was fourth. He's out. The breakfast bends, that's been done. And we move on to the next round and the next vehicles. We're on sports cars. Desktop drop-off. Okay, this is a little bit... Oh my goodness, it's a lot faster. Whoa, we're going out. You've got absolutely no indication as to when a corner's coming up, where you're going. Yeah, try and get past the eraser. And back down. Across the shatterproof rule. Who remember shatterproof rulers? Do you remember shatterproof rulers as kids? Why were they shatterproof? Why did we try and shatter them? Who shattered their ruler? Oh, I went too far. You see, you got no indication at all. Back into third. Come on. Knock the red one out of the way. And we're back to first. You see, you've got a lot more power than the opposition. But it's just, can you control it in this game? Over the shatterproof ruler. And back into first place. Oh no, I've hit the pencil sharpener. The graphics for the day on this were pretty good. Now what you have to remember is that Codemasters was an English developer. Oh no, I missed that corner again. And so because they were a British developer, they didn't produce a lot initially for the NES. It was all the Commodore 64. It was the old 8-bit microcomputers, which were huge in Britain. And so I think this was sort of one of their first major hits on the NES. Oh, I'm really losing it now. I've totally lost this. And yeah, so this came out on the NES, and it was a big hit, and it got good reviews. And looking back, oh no, I'm doing terribly. This was a good game. It's still fun even now. I suppose you could say it was kind of a little bit of a copy of like the Super Sprint games, the top-down racing, but you could see early on where they got their racing, the basic ideas for the racing games from. A really good game. And now what happens? We lose Walter. Walter, the obese kid, he's off. Off to buy some more donuts. He's gone. What are we on now? Race 3, Oil Can Alley. I'm not sure what these are. Oh, I've totally exploded. Explodable cars. So you said I don't exactly get. I keep hitting things but don't explode. But then you suddenly just touch another car and you just burst into a ball of smoke. I'm hitting everything there. I think that's a fuse. Across a nail. Back into first place. The second lap. Here we go. And we hit a pencil, and again you just explode randomly. Sometimes you can hit the cars, and then sometimes you can't. It's just random. Those oil slicks are a real pain. And we explode again. But overall, for 1991, this was a really good game, and you could see why Codemasters sort of became a market leader, really, as a developer. They were really good games. The early 90s were a cool time for video games. Micro Machines, I sunk hours and hours into that game. Haven't played it genuinely for years, and yeah, it probably showed in my gameplay that I haven't played that game for quite some time. But games have moved on, and time has moved on, and Codemasters have produced some truly awesome games since 1991. One of my all-time favourites is Dirt Rally 2.0. So if you're not familiar with the Dirt series, where have you been? There's a couple of games in the Dirt series. So they do Dirt 3, Dirt 4, and they do Dirt Rally. So Dirt Rally is more intense, it's more a simulator and more serious. The Dirt 3, 4 games and Dirt 5, which has just come out, are the more arcade rally experiences. They're lighter, they've not got sort of the more intricate detail. You can't sort of change your car and alter your car around so much. So for me, being more of a hardcore racing fan, I prefer the Dirt Rally series. Dirt Rally 2.0 came out a couple of years ago on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and we're going to have a look at this game now. It's absolutely brilliant. I haven't played it for a while, and it's currently on offer under a tenner on the PlayStation Store, £9.59 if you've not got this game, and now's a brilliant time to pick it up. Enough of me talking about it, let's load the game up and I'll show you. Okay, so I've picked the Argentina course. So we've got one of the rally stages in Argentina, and there's loads of different sort of settings and different locations in the game. You've got, off the top of my head, you've got Argentina, you've got Germany, England, Greece, Monaco. Some of these are all DLC, download content. You've got Poland, Scotland. We're in the legend, the Ford Escort Cosworth, which from my sort of teenage years, this was the car that everybody wanted. And off we go. I'm playing with all the assists off, and we've got manual clutch on as well. I'm on my Thrustmaster wheel, so we've got clutch and no assists at all, no ABS, no sort of traction control, nothing. And off we go. I'm definitely more of a track racer than off-road racing, but we're giving it our best anyway. So with rally games, as I say, against the sort of standard dirt games, the rally games, definitely the physics is definitely more hardcore and definitely not for the faint-hearted. But you've got the assist there that you can kind of get into the game slowly and really master it. And that's what I love. And you can set the AI at different levels, so I'd rather have like a slower AI and kind of struggle my way through with no assists, because I like the challenge of it. And we can just spin the back out there. And the controls on this game are just sublime. So if you've got a wheel, it's definitely made for a wheel, but you can have as equally as much fun if you're just on your joypad. And you can hear my co-driver calling out the instructions that I'm taking no notice of whatsoever. And we're in can cut that corner a little bit there. Whoa! You always feel like you're right on the edge of your seat with this game. You've got the rocks one side, you've got drops sometimes on the other side. Your heart is in your mouth all the time.
Into 3 left. Opens.
So you can see why Codemasters really are the sort of kings of the racing genre. And what will happen with EA? I don't know. You know, EA, if they put as much this game obviously comes with a lot of DLC, and you can buy the extra cars. There's some great cars in here standard. You get the Mini Cooper, the original mixed 60s Mini Cooper, the Peugeot 205. Whoa! You get an Alfa Romeo, which is one of my favourites. You get a Citroen DS1. But as well as that, I mean, the cars, you can get extra cars, DLC, but you feel you get a full game. So you can get like the supercars of 2019. You can get a 208 WRX Subaru. You get Ford Fiesta. You can get an Evo 5, Audi S1. These are all DLC cars, but you feel like you feel definitely that you get a full game, whereas obviously whereas with EA, and if you cast your minds back a few years ago, some of you might remember the Star Wars Battlefront 2 situation where people felt it was just a loot box and a pay to win, and there's just that fear that will EA turn Codemasters, you know, games into a similar fate. Whoa, we're getting carried away now. Oh no, straight across the bridge. I hope not. We've got to try and keep positive, and we'll just have to wait and see whether Codemasters will keep the branding, or if eventually it will just emerge into an EA game. Of course, the Formula 1 license belongs to Codemasters. That will now belong to EA. Oh no!
30.
Oh no! Terminally terminated! Let's now jump into the replay and see where it all went wrong for me. So, yeah, I mean, if we look at EA, you know, the only racing sort of game I suppose we can compare is NASCAR Heat, which, I'm being honest, doesn't exactly, you know, make me go all fizzy inside with excitement. It's not one of my favourite racing titles by far, and you know, Formula 1 and Dirt Rally definitely are my types of game. I hope EA stay true to the titles and stay true to the IP, and don't sort of alter the games too much, because they don't need to. You know, they're great games. EA are full of promise. They sort of say that they're going to, you know, make some amazing racing titles. Only time will tell. Like I say, we've got to stay positive and just hope that EA stay true to their word and they don't fill the games full of loot boxes. And I really hope we don't have to pay to win. I hope EA have learnt their lesson. You know, EA did make and change FIFA a little bit. They updated career mode a little bit. They said that they'd listen to the fans. Let's hope that they do the same in the racing genre. So I really hope that the acquisition of Codemasters by EA doesn't turn out like my rallying game just then and ends up in the ditch and it goes off track. I guess we'll just have to see what happens with Codemasters now. I'm hoping that if we look positively, that EA will pump money into it, and EA promise that they're going to make the best racing games ever seen, and these fantastic video games. But we already had them. We had them with Dirt 2 and with Formula 1. So I hope that EA don't turn it into the cash cow that FIFA's become with Ultimate Team. You know, it would be awful if the Formula 1 career mode, for instance, was neglected like the FIFA career mode was neglected for years and years. Let's hope that doesn't happen. If you like our content, please remember to hit like and subscribe. It really helps our little channel to grow. Next week, I'm going to show you all around the studio. We're going to do away with all the green screen effects and the studio effects, and I'm actually going to show you in the studio, and it's a brand new purpose-built studio for Droopy Dog, the game channel, and I'm going to show you sort of some of the equipment we've got and what we're all about, and sort of show you where the videos are made. So I hope to see you for that, and we'll see you next time on the Droopy Dog Gamer.